Kaisercade.
5 episodes into the show, well, technically 6, and still no proper intro to it. Hey, I'm James C. Kaiser. Welcome to another episode of Kaisercade, the 5th one. Yay! 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 Yeah, here's what's on this edition of Kaisercade. On this exciting edition of Kaisercade, we take a look at an SRPG turned into a 2-on-2 fighting game with Blade Arcus. And then we soar into the skies with Skypeace. Take a look at some neat Sega DVDs in the Kaisercade Underground segment. And I tell you how you can get all the achievements with ease in the game Sweatshop for the PC. All this and much more in this episode of Kaisercade. But before we move on to that, let's kick in with the first review of the episode, where I, Kaiser Sensei, take a look at a Sega game that a lot of people may not know of. A game that came out in arcades. A Sonic the Hedgehog game. This is Sonic the Fighters for the PS3. Yay. That evil Dr. Robotnik is at it again, and all with the help of his new and improved Death Egg, appropriately named the Death Egg 2! But Robotnik isn't alone. He also has Metal Sonic. Well, Metal Sonic with a nose job, that is. But thank goodness that Tails has built a rocket so he can send Sonic into space to put a stop to Dr. Robotnik. But it's not as simple as that. But you see, Tails needs the power of the 8. That's right, there's 8 in this version. Chaos Emeralds to power the damn thing. How do you suppose you get the Chaos Emeralds? Well, that's easy. You beat the crap out of all Sonic's friends. Yep, Sonic and friends are fighting in the art of Mortal Kombat in this 3D fighter. The fighting game style isn't that much different compared to some of Sega's games like Fighting Vipers and Virtua Fighter. So if you played any of those games, well, you're going to feel at home playing this one. But unlike Virtua Fighter, the blocking in this does have its limits. Because certain moves can destroy your shield. And if you got no shield, well, you can't block, and you're left open to your opponent. What I liked about the controls and movesets in this one is that the Sonic characters fight as you would expect them to. Sonic fights like Sonic, Tails fights like Tails, Knuckles, well, he'll show you the meaning of the word Knuckles. But sadly, the combat itself isn't very deep, it's actually quite thin and basic. But that didn't stop me from having fun with this one. But also, don't expect seeing this one at Battle Arena Melbourne anytime soon. Graphics are very blocky, but that doesn't ruin the experience for me. I mix that in with the colourful stages and you got a very charming looking game that definitely has a lot of retro appeal. Soundtrack is also really fun to listen to, with its high energy sound that goes really well with the game. Actually, I like the soundtrack so much that I ended up buying the CD copy of it. Whoa! Yeah. Overall, Sonic the Fighters isn't the deepest fighter out there, but it is a very fun one, and that's all that matters. I give it a very respectable 70. Green Cat is a very simple game, with a very simple concept. All you need to do is to get Green Cat to the end of the game. A game that consists of one really long hallway that randomly generates 100 stages! While not a bad concept, it isn't very well implemented, as once I got past the first 10 stages, the level generation becomes very lazy and repetitive, to the point where it is possible to get the same damn level 50 times in a row! I know this because this happened to me, damn it! And on more than one occasion as well. You also need to beat the stages within a certain time, otherwise the stage will dissolve, leaving you sinking into the infinite sea of darkness. Difficulty is also depending on the stage that is generated. Sometimes it generates a very easy stage, while other times it generates something that's cheaper than getting a family discount at a Tasmanian brothel. It's very inconsistent, and slightly incest. At least this game does throw you a bone, as in between stages, this game will save. And there will be items that can be obtained as well. And, quite frankly, you're gonna need them, kid. Graphics aim for something simple, something minimalistic. And it looks like something right from a Sega Genesis game, like Cosmic Spacehead, but no way near as detailed. Yeah, I wonder how many people remember Cosmic Spacehead out there. The sound and music in this game doesn't really quite mesh together with the look and gameplay. It sounds like a mixture of average sounding Sega Master System music, mixed in with very bad Nintendo Entertainment System sound effects. The sounds also get very annoying, so I recommend playing something else while playing this game. Maybe listen to a good podcast. I don't know, listen to Fastcast. Yeah! There's me going yeah again, but yeah, deal with it. Overall, Green Cat does have some good ideas, but it doesn't get any of them correct. I'm giving this game a 35. What's that, Huckleberry? We got a new segment for the show? Ooh, it's Cheats and Codes! Ooh, and it's for Sonic the Fighters! Ooh, let's kick over to that, shall we? Yeah! Sonic the Fighters isn't just an underrated game, it's also an underrated game with some neat secret characters, which you can play on the 360 and PS3 editions of this game. The first secret character can be found by going to the character select screen. Then you highlight Amy Rose. Good, you're doing well there. But Amy Rose is not the secret character. But you do get the secret character when you press start while she is highlighted. Then you'll be able to play as the verified version of Honey from Fighting Vipers. And another neat thing is when you're playing mirror matches with Honey, they'll both have different colours. Unlike the regular mirror matches, where you're just fighting a black and white version of yourself. Again, if you want to play as Honey, highlight Amy Rose on the character select screen, then press start. Have fun, guys. She's a character that's worth playing as. Coming up after the break, we take a look at Blade Arcus for the PC, and then Poi for the Nintendo Switch. So don't go away. More Kaisercade. Hey! Where you going? I said don't go away, because more Kaisercade is coming. Yeah, you better sit there. Wake up! Because Kaisercade's back on! Right here on EmeraldRangers.com. Ooh, Shining Wisdom for the Sega Saturn, the bastard child of the Shining franchise. But I'm not going to be looking at this game today. On a future episode, yes, but for now, I'm taking a look at another Shining game. This is Blade Arcus for Steam. Blade Arcus from Shining Battle Arena is a game that puts characters from Shining Blade and Shining Hearts into one big 2.5D 2-on-2 fighting game. The story is quite basic and unremarkable, involving some magical force bringing the two casts together. Yeah, the story in this one is very uninteresting and quite boring. The story doesn't matter though, because this game is all about picking your favourite characters from the modern Shining games. And while that's a good thing, I am a bit upset that this game completely ignores all of the classic Shining characters. Yeah. Gameplay in this one isn't that much different from any other of the mainstream fighting games, such as, don't hate me for this, but I'm going to do some comparisons, Street Fighter 2 and Guilty Gear X. This is not a bad thing though. What this means is that this game is quite easy to adapt to. So if you played any of the games that, like I mentioned before, then you'll feel right at home playing this one. Yes, I know I said that line in the Sonic the Fighters review. Who cares? Repetition, everyone! The controls are very smooth and responsive, and the special moves are also very satisfying to pull off. But the thing I found ultra charming about the fighting system is that every time a character got hit, they took damage that's reminiscent of that from RPGs. And also, if you hit a character a certain way, then you get a critical hit, which does more damage than usual. So it's very nice to see this RPG elements mixed in with the fighting game ones. Really makes for something a little bit unique. This game does throw in a nice twist by having it as a tag fighter, where you get to pick two characters for your team. Downside is that you can only switch between characters in between rounds, but you can summon them mid-battle, so picking the right partner is crucial for if you want to do some big damage. If you get bored of single-player arcade, this game does offer modes such as local and online multiplayer to help add that extra spice to the game. I complained about this before, but I'm going to mention it again. The downside to this game is that there isn't any classic Shining Force characters, just these generic looking ones from the modern game. The backgrounds and stages are also quite generic as well, but they didn't look bad and actually worked with the game. The animation is okay, but it does lack some fluidness, meaning that the characters can walk around a bit awkwardly sometimes. Bitterness aside, the game itself is very decent. And if you are a hardcore fighting game fan, then this one is worth checking out. It's a very healthy 77. Poi! Sorry, I couldn't resist. Poi is a game about two orphans who get sick of their boring lives and run away from the orphanage to go on an epic adventure. They run into a joyful old man who needs companions to help him travel the worlds and the skies with, so they can collect all sorts of juicy treasures. There is more to the story though, but it comes right towards the end of the game, and I really don't want to spoil it. Gameplay harkens to old school 3D platform. Really? 3D platformers are old? I feel old now. Oh, see, I remember when this was new, Super Mario 64. I know it's a dirty old cartridge, but I remember when that was new. And to hear that those kinds of games are considered old now, it just makes me feel old. But anyway, back to the review. Gameplay harkens to old school 3D platformers like Super Mario 64. I just showed off Super Mario 64 and Donkey Kong 64, as there are treasures and medallions that are earned by completing missions. This game may not sound that exciting, but it is, with fun levels to explore and a decent amount of side quests to do. Although, experienced players may blast through this one quite quickly, and they might also find it a bit on the easy side. Even then, it's still very satisfying to play. It's also mainly a non-linear game as well, meaning that you can collect some of the medallions out of order. And it's always fun breaking the rules in games like this. Controls are very smooth and responsive, and are better than some of those old 3D platformers. Remember, I said some of them! Although, the Switch version has the weakest controls out of the lot, as the button placement did get a little bit uncomfortable. There are also two different versions of this game. The common version that was released on PC and most other consoles, and then there's the Explorer Edition, which is out on the Nintendo Switch. The Explorer Edition doesn't have many differences compared to the original version, but it does have some different item placement and an unlockable soundtrack and art book. The graphics are nice and colourful, but very basic. But this isn't a bad thing at all. The basic style works perfectly and really gives off vibes of nostalgia, as well as feeling like an all-new game all at the same time. The character designs are generic, but are absolutely adorable, and it's very hard not to like them. Soundtrack is also generic, but also beautiful and goes well and creates a good atmosphere. Overall, Poi is a really good budget game, and also a good throwback to the classic 3D platformers. Granted, it's still a far cry from being something like Super Mario 64, but it is also a bit better than something like Super Mario Sunshine. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, so I'm giving the main version of Poi a 75, but the Explorer Edition gets a 72 due to its controls. You love achievements, huh? Well, this segment is for you. This is the Ezy Cheeves segment, and I hope that Orange Scarab doesn't try to sue me for that one, because we run the Ezy Cheeves group on Steam. And this game is definitely one of the games that is on the list. So easy, that's, well, I'm not going to tell you how easy. I'm going to show you how easy it is in this segment, which I just mentioned before. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the game is Sweatshop for Steam. All you need to do is start up the game. Then you press the escape key to bring up the menu. Then you hold down the G key and the spacebar. And voila! You'll now have all 50 achievements without needing to put in all the hard work into unlocking them the normal way. Just remember, all you need to do is start up the game. Then press the escape key to bring up the menu. Then press and hold down the G key and spacebar. It's that simple. Cheeve on, my brothers. Cheeve on. Still to come on Kaisercade Episode 5, we've got the Kaisercade Underground, where I take a look at some Sega DVDs. Which ones? Well, stop it! You're spoiling what they are! Don't look up there, don't look up there, wait till the segments! And I review Skypeace for the Nintendo Switch. So keep on sitting down and keep on relaxing, because more Kaisercade is up after this break. Panic! Kaisercade's back on! Ah! Hey there, boo boo! I've got some more secret characters for you in Sonic the Fighters for the PS3 and Xbox 360. So, let's take a look at that, shall we? Honey isn't the only secret character in this game. You can also play as the secret bosses as well. Yes, that's Metal Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, and here's how you can do it. First of all, you need to set it to local versus. This can't be done in single player arcade mode, sadly. Then you gotta highlight Sonic and press start, and Metal Sonic will now appear in the character select. Dr. Robotnik's method is near the same, but instead of highlighting Sonic, highlight Bean instead, you know, that green duck, and press start. You'll now be playing as the overpowered Metal Sonic and Dr. Robotnik. Now you can react the scene from the classic Sonic the Hedgehog anime movie, where Metal Sonic beats up Dr. Robotnik for giving him a pay cut. I would too, that cheap Humpty Dumpty looking bastard. Ugh. Remember, to play as Metal Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, you need to set it as a local versus game because it can't be done in arcade mode. And to play as Metal Sonic, highlight Sonic on the character select screen and press start. And to play as Dr. Robotnik, highlight Bean and press start. Yep, that's all there is to it. Have fun, guys. Welcome to the Kaisercade Underground segment, a segment where I take a look at old video game media, such as videotapes, DVDs, and whatnots. You know, stuff that a lot of other channels don't cover, but they really should! Anyway, on this edition, I'll be talking about Virtua Fighter 3, but not the videotape. Although, might as well show this off. Yep, this is a guide tape to how to play as Sarah in Virtua Fighter 3. It's a really good cover, but I'm not talking about this. Well, actually, I am, but not the videotape version. What I'm actually talking about is the DVD version. Wait a second, did you say DVD version? You mean there was DVDs out when this was out? And when I mean this, I mean 1996. And the answer is, well, yes! As you can see, that Virtua Fighter Guide series was also released on DVD, making some of the very earliest DVD releases, and it had to be done by Sega of all companies. Excellent! But yeah, before I talk about what's actually on the disc, actually I already pretty much ruined it with this, but pretend you didn't hear that. Yes, there was more than just 3 volumes. I've only got 3 volumes. I've got Akira, Kage, and Aoi. Now, there was a version released for every character. And as I said before, what these do is just... Well, I'm not going to repeat myself because I'm going to mention it in the whole video segment. But anyway, they're nothing that special. It's just... Am I out of sync? Nope. Nothing that special. It's just... Oh, you can see my things there. It's just stamped, black, and in a generic CD case. There's the back of it. That shows you who's teaching you how to play the characters. But anyway, enough of me awkwardly bickering about these. Let's actually take a look at what's on them, shall we? Okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm using the VHS rip from the series. But the content is still the same, whether or not it's videotape or DVD. But anyway, there's nothing much to the content found in the series. You get a very cool and very 1990s opening with the underrated Virtua Fighter theme playing in the background. It's a very good opening. It gets my blood pumping with excitement! This series is mostly about teaching you some awesome hard-hitting combos, and in a very detailed way. But what makes these segments extra special is that each volume has a different teacher. Each teacher is a famous Virtua Fighter esport player, and each volume is also a different character. The characters that these players use. I really like this. It added a very human warmth to it. This series isn't just about the player teaching you how to play, but is also about the players themselves, as there are interview segments as well. Sadly, all of these segments are in Japanese with no English subtitles, which is an obvious thing to expect, as these are Japanese releases after all. Lastly, there's a segment showing off the player playing arcade mode, and this isn't a typical play. It is also a lesson that teaches you what to do for when you're getting your butt kicked. Overall, it's very fascinating seeing the series on DVD and videotape. It is also an incredibly early release in the DVD's lifespan. Heck, most countries didn't have DVD when this got released, and I am very proud that some of the real early stuff is gaming stuff. Sega gaming stuff! Way to go, Sega! It's still bloody cool that Sega was one of the first companies to release video game promotional material on DVD. Yeah. But that's enough of that. Let's check out another review, shall we? This is Skypeace for the Nintendo Switch. Whoa! There's no real story in this one. It's just a game about two sky surfers, not to be confused with sky explorers like that found in Poi. And yup, you've guessed it. One is a boy and the other's a girl. Their goal is to go around stages collecting coins and gems. While simple, it is quite interesting with some very fast-paced stages that have a lot to collect. And also a lot to avoid, such as crazy looking robotic enemies that look, well, crazy. This game does get very hard, but never unfair, because this game gives you more than enough health and power up to survive the game. Downside to this game is it gets quite repetitive and the levels do feel incredibly samey. Downside to this game is it gets quite repetitive and the levels do feel incredibly samey. Controls are very simple, but very effective, as all you need to do to move the character around is just move the joystick, like this. You can also use the buttons if you want to, well, not use this. Graphics are incredibly charming and flashy, as they mix in modern and retro graphics to create something that's a blast for the eyes. Whoa! Sadly, it can be a bit too much of a blast, as everything scrolls real quickly, and it did start to give me headaches, so don't play this one for long sessions if you worry about having seizures. The music is the weakest part of this game, as it sounds very generic and misused. Oh. It's too relaxing and doesn't go with the game, and sounds like something that would have been best suited for a farming game. Overall, Skypeace is a surprisingly decent game, with a surprisingly decent price. It only cost around $1, and it'll be nice to see this game as an actual arcade release in the future. I'm giving this a 65. Thank you for watching another exciting episode of Kaisercade, and if you haven't done so, please check out www.emeraldrangers.com, where you can find reviews on tokusatsu, anime, video games, and, well, more. And a big thank you to Cameron Hans, who made the Kaisercade theme song. Until then, I'm Captain James T. Kaiser. I'll see you again for more Kaisercade.